Good Monday morning, everyone. This is Ruben and Veronica with Red Alpha Custom Prints with another episode of the Red Alpha Mugshot Monday podcast. We're excited to bring some new information and just kind of talk about our weekend. We got some new things that we're working on, some new systems that we are in the process of developing. And we got some exciting things that we did for the weekend that we want to share with you. And so, I'm excited. But for those of you guys who don't know us, maybe you're just tuning in for the first time. We are the owners of Red Alpha Custom Prints. We're located here in Abilene, Texas, and we're a print shop. We do anything from business cards to window wraps and everything in between. We do a lot of trailer wraps and vehicle wraps, signs and banners, but we also do business cards and brochures and T-shirts and embroidery. So the goal is to do as much as we can, so you don't have any other reason to go anywhere else, right? So that's our business in a nutshell. If you want to look more into it, go to our website www.redacp.com and see all the products and services that we offer. We got some original brands that that I call Red Alpha Originals that are on the website. I'm actually wearing one of our Red Alpha Original designs and brand. It's called Genexican, and so this is for the Generation X who happen to be Mexican Americans, right? So I call it Genexican. As you can see, we got the love for both, right? We got the Superman and Chapulín all in one design because we grew up watching both, right? And so that's what this brand is all about. But go check out the website. If you like anything, place your order, and we'll be happy to serve you that way. But it cannot be a Mugshot Monday unless we're talking about coffee and our coffee mugs, right? I'll let you go first because yours is a little bit newer than ours. But talk about your coffee mug.
So this coffee mug I got a couple of weeks ago in San Antonio at the zoo when I went on a trip with our daughter for the weekend. It was a great weekend, by the way. And on the way out, we went through the gift shop and I got this coffee mug. It says, "Save the chubby unicorns," which is the rhinos.
Oh, rhinoceros.
I didn't know that's what they were called, and it's San Antonio Zoo. But obviously, what caught my eye was the color. I like the colors, purplish and blue. But then, the chubby unicorns. I thought that was pretty cute.
Oh, it changes color.
It does.
Yeah. It's it looks like it's not just one solid color.
No, it's not. It goes from purple to.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I thought when I was looking at it at first, it looked like just the blue, and then as you moved it around, I'm like, oh, it's also got
like
some purple
iridescent.
Too. Yeah, it's an iridescent coffee mug wrap. Man, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you went to the zoo, the San Antonio Zoo. Man, I haven't been there in a long time, but it's one of the better zoos here in Texas for sure, right?
Yeah, it was really nice.
Really nice.
And not enough time to see everything.
Right. We'll go again and we'll make sure that we support the chubby rhinos. And for my coffee mug, I'm going to have to put it in my left hand, but it's one that I picked up at Mardell's section on both sides.
Yeah.
It says, "Trust in the Lord." It comes out of Proverbs 3:5. It's one of those scriptures that I think, anybody who's been serving God for any length of time, you've heard this scripture, preached before. It might be one of your life scriptures, or kind of like the staple of your relationship. But it says, it just says, "Trust in the Lord." That's 3:5. But that whole like pair that goes together, it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your path." Right? What better? I mean, you just do that, and you're gonna be all right. And so I had to pick it up. We were there getting gifts and stuff, but I was like, man, this is awesome. It's a travel mug, so I'm definitely going to use this next time we go out of town. And so looking forward to this right here. And it's weird because like I should buy more stuff like this. Right? I'm over there like whenever we're going to Austin or Lubbock, I'm looking for something funny or something cool or whatever. But you know what? I need to buy more stuff that represents my faith, right? And just the relationship that I have with God, right?
Mm-hmm.
So trust in the Lord, and you'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
But we have something even extra special. So for those of you guys who know us, maybe you're following us on social media, or even in this podcast, you know that we're kind of finishing up the Yellowstone, the first series, and we found out a couple of weeks ago that they have a coffee that goes
Rip Wheeler.
Rip Wheeler. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, so we went to Molly's McKay's Bakery, and we went. They had this coffee, and then they had a mug and a T-shirt from Rip Wheeler. He's one of the main characters at Yellowstone, and the coffee is called Free Reign. It's his brand, and I'm like, I've seen this. Well, they have it. They also have it at HEB, and I was like, I think we should get some cowboy coffee, right?
Yes.
And this one's called American Dirt. It's a dark roast. That's what we usually gravitate to, bold roast.
That's what we're sipping right now.
Yeah, and I thought that was pretty cool. You know that his character in this series, created. I mean, I don't know if he had all that in mind at the time that he was doing the series, but whenever we were watching it, they always have their coffee in the mornings, and they're always sipping coffee in the evenings, and it just like, it looks so delicious and refreshing. And then we just happened to come across this, and then he's got a website that he sells it online, and coffee mugs and T-shirts.
Yeah, I mean, coffee sells itself, right? And so all you have to do is just grab a mug, and you're like, man, that's some good coffee.
Yeah, or if somebody says, you want a cup of coffee? Yeah, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, and then really all you have to do is just kind of put it right here, so people looking, and that is marketing right there. But what I thought was cool is it's, whenever we start watching a show, we really get into it. It's like we want to experience as much as we can, of the show, but being realistic about it, right? We're not going to go to Montana, for the weekend, not yet. But it would have been nice. I mean, seeing the scenery of the show, but so whenever we came across this, it was cool. But then whenever my wife brought the coffee, I started looking at the branding, and I have a habit of doing that, like just looking at how they position everything and all that. And on the back, it says, and it's got a picture of him. It's got American Dirt, and it says, we're Free Reign, right? We're a coffee company founded on the pursuit of the American dream. It says, born out of the cowboy tradition, made to help you never forget that the hard work and sweat aren't just a trade-off for living. The dream, they are the dream. And every day is a chance to go chase it. Get up and get after it.
Get up and get after it.
Right. So it's, man, I'm feeling that right there.
Yeah.
And so that's my whole thing, man. Just, sprinkle some andale on it, and then you'll be all right. We heard that this we're in season 5, and we heard one of the cowboys said, hurry up, so sprinkle some andale on it. I'm like, man, I'm going to use that. That's going to be my motto.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, that's it for our coffee mug presentation. We're not finished with season 5, so we haven't started watching Marshall's yet. That one debuted yesterday. So we're going to finish season 5. We have, 4 episodes left.
Yeah, about 4.
And once we finish that, then we'll watch Marshall's, and we'll be caught up by next Sunday. So we'll definitely do that.
Unless they just, do it once a week.
Yeah, if they do it, I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, right.
We'll find out, right? And so, but yeah, American Dirt. If you guys want to check it out, it's definitely good. My wife tells me that he also has an espresso.
Yeah, there's 3 other flavors or types.
Yeah.
But yeah, go check it out in HEB.
It'll wake you right up. Right. And trust in God. So moving on to the next segment, we had an awesome weekend this past weekend.
Yes.
One of the better weekends in a while, I would say. Yeah. It was our anniversary. We're celebrating how many years?
17 years.
17 years of marriage bliss.
Marriage.
Right. It's been great. It's gone fast. We've been together for 19 years.
Almost
but
18 years. Yeah.
Man, married for 17. We've, we've done it all, right? I mean, it's like we've had kids that we're raising. Now we're empty nesters. We're, recent grandparents. Our oldest is 4 years. That's still brand new to me.
Yeah.
We're still learning how to be a grandma and grandpa, right? But we got some experience because we were mom and dad.
Yeah.
Right? And so being
so we know a thing or two.
Yeah, we know how to do it. And it's really cool. I mean, being a grandparent, and from my eyes, it's really awesome to see your children, right? Doing what you had to do at once.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, at one time, right? And it's like being able to help them and not just, like coach them, but let them know, hey, we got your back.
Yeah.
Right? That's a big one for me. That's a big one. It's like, it's just to say, hey, if you need anything, give us a call. We'll be there for you. That means a lot to me. And so, but for our anniversary, we had been for years. We had been, wanting to go out to Perini's Steakhouse in Buffalo Gap, and just have dinner there. We see everybody. I've seen several of our friends on social media, post when they go and stuff like that, and I was like, one of these days we're gonna go. Right, that's the way I looked at it, and I personally, I wanted it to be a day to where we went, and I wasn't going to look at the prices on the menu, right? I couldn't help but look at the prices on the menu, but it wasn't a thing to where I was like, ooh, let me see what I can order, right? It was like, let me see what I can order, and who cares what it costs, right? Not that we're balling out of control, but I didn't want to just show up and we're like it was a bad decision,
right?
And so I loved, and we didn't have to put it on a credit card, we didn't have to finance it, that kind of deal, you know what I mean? And so we just went whenever we were able to go, and it's like you go if you want to, right? Of course, if we really wanted to go bad enough, I mean, we could have asked for an extension on our electric bill, or paid our car payment or whatever, late, or unsubscribe to some of the subscriptions that were, that kind of deal, right? But we can't do that, right? So to me, I looked at it like a delayed gratification type thing, but the problem with that is now that I've experienced it, it's like the standard is being raised, right? So we did this for our anniversary. Now it's like, how are we going to have an anniversary and not do something like that or more, right? Yeah. It doesn't have to be Perini's, but now that's, we're raising the bar. And, some people, that's part of their standard anyway, right? It's like, whether they can afford it or not, it's like, my standard is I'm going to eat good food, and I'm going to, and some people it's like, they don't have, the responsibilities that we might have, like for business expenses and stuff like that, and making more money, all that stuff, all of that plays into part. But for me, it's like, I won't even buy myself a new pair of shoes until it's like, man, I really need it, or something like that. I would much rather buy another, ink cartridge, or, get some backup material, or that's the way that I look at it, right? And so I'll wear some shoes out, even though the ones that I'm wearing right now, it's like, I bought them last year, and it's like, it's time for an upgrade. They're not talking yet, but that's just kind of something that I've learned, a long time ago, delayed gratification, right? Because if you can practice delayed gratification, once you're able to do it without, like it being a poor decision, the reward feels a lot better, right? And actually, I've learned to tie everything to an accomplishment. So even though you can buy a new pair of shoes anytime you want to, but hey, let's close this project. Let's at the end of the week, if we can close all of the projects that we submitted, invoices or quotes to, then on the weekend, right, we can treat ourselves, right? That's called, that's delayed gratification, but it's attached to an accomplishment, right? Whenever you're just going out and you have that instant gratification, it's like you haven't really earned it. Yes, you work and stuff like that, but if you can add that extra layer and say, you know what, I don't just deserve it because I work hard, right? I deserve it because I accomplished something, right? And so accomplishing something makes the reward a lot better. So instant gratification versus delayed gratification. It's something that I try to practice. And then the delayed gratification wasn't like, it wasn't hard because we, we weren't able a lot of times to do some of the things that we wanted to do, or it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to do that. But now as we're able to do a little bit more, now it's whenever we got to look at the instant versus delayed gratification. So I'm excited about that. I want to see how good of a steward I am and see if I'm going to fall, tempted to buy something that just because I can, versus, I don't need it right now. I can wait I want to build that discipline. When you're broke, you don't have to worry about being disciplined. Right? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so it's like our weekend recap. We went to Perini's to eat. Ate some good food. Then we went to go watch that movie, Scream 7.
Scream 7.
And I mean, if you're a fan of the Scream franchise, it's on par with the other ones. My wife was saying that she wants to go watch the first one and all that. Yeah, and it's, to me, it's just kind of like if you're a fan of Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street or any of those. Any of those type of horror or any movie, series, it's like you kind of watch it and you're like, was it, on par with some of the other ones, right? Yeah. When you have a series that goes, 7 movies, right? It's kind of like the things that surprised you or the things that were really cool when they first came out with, it's not as cool anymore, right? And so, but it's the nostalgia.
Yeah,
starts
it's
to kick
nostalgia.
in, right? So it was cool to see, Courtney Cox in there and like what are their names? I don't even remember.
Nev Campbell.
Nev Campbell. Those are the real names. What are their character names?
Oh.
And so I don't even know what their character.
You didn't tell me you were gonna say real name, character name.
You gotta learn on the fly. And so the characters. I know Dewey. And that's it.
I don't even know the main name. Well, that's not one of my go-to films or movies. Scream. I mean, it wasn't something that I liked or it was popular for me.
Right, but we're not being graded by how big of a Scream fan. We're just basically letting people know what we've done on our anniversary. Right, Scream 7 was the only movie that I could have watched Goat, the cartoon. I could have watched that, but Scream was the only movie that we were really interested in, at all. And so we watched it, and it was good. I mean, it was on par with the other movies. I mean, we enjoyed it. It didn't change my life. Yeah. And I wouldn't call it the best movie ever, or even the best in the franchise, but it was on par with the other ones. And so, shout out to people who loved it or whatever. But for us, it was something good, something that we can do. We had dinner earlier and then movie, and so it was pretty cool.
It was a great day.
I enjoyed it. The only thing, getting back to the Perini's, is we were a little early because you got to book 2 weeks in advance or something like that, right? A book ahead of time. And so I was like, okay, I'm getting the prime rib. And we were too early for the prime rib.
Yeah, it was booked too early. And I mean, we went at 3:30 was a reservation because I made the reservation maybe 3 or 4 days before Saturday. And 4 p.m. through 8 p.m. was already taken. And I was like, man, so it's like an early dinner or late, but then we were going to go to the movie, so we weren't going to do it later than that.
And eating early is good because you get a chance to walk it off, or you get a chance to kind of digest it. When you eat late, it's like
because it got me. I have to get my popcorn.
Oh yeah, popcorn and all that stuff.
I always get a large popcorn.
Yeah, without butter.
No butter.
Yeah, we have our rituals when we go to the movies. I don't know if you guys do the same thing, but so we get the large popcorn without butter for my wife. We usually share a drink, and then I usually have to have a pickle, and then I'll get Milk Duds or what is the other one? Milk Duds is the one that I
or the Whoppers.
Or the Whoppers, and sometimes I get Twizzlers. But
sometimes he shares, but sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah, most of the time I don't share because it's my candy. Go buy yourself one.
I always like, if you want some, just get it.
Yeah. And so
I'm over here. Well, I don't want the whole box. We can have a couple.
Yeah.
Can you give me some milk duds? Like
you got any more of those milk duds? I'm like, I don't like sharing, right? I mean, we're now able to share a drink, but whenever we got together, I was like, I don't want to share drinks, and it's not so much like you. It's like I want my own drink. I bought it so that I can, and then I'll buy you one. And fries, I'll never forget about it. Do not share my fries.
Don't share fries.
And I'll buy you as many fries as you want, but you can't have one of mine. And but that's just the way that I am. I'm selfish when it comes to my food, my personal food, but I'm not selfish in the fact that I'm just going to buy myself something and not you.
Right.
Right. So it's a different level of selfishness. Right. And I love you still the same. It don't mean that I don't love you. I do love you. But yeah, I mean, so our anniversary was great. I mean, I'm so excited to spend my life with you, right? Yeah. We're able to do some fun things, and we're looking forward to doing some better things. Our business is, God is blessing our business, and we have some cool things worked out, which kind of leads me to our next segment. That was basically our recap. We had a couple of projects that we had to catch up on because our plotter was out, but I talked about that last time. And so going into the next segment, so the next segment, we usually pick a project that we're working on or just spotlight a part of our business that that we're excited about. And this time, what I wanted to do is I want to talk about our WrapFu brand and what we're doing with it. So whenever I first started WrapFu, it's I looked at it as once you get to a point when you're installing vehicles, it's almost to where it's like you got a process down. It's almost like you're doing martial arts. It's a skill. Yeah. It's a skill that you practice over and over and over, and then eventually you start to master that skill, right? Last week we talked about getting out of a bind, and so whenever you're developing your skills in installing vinyl, it's the same thing. You get in a bind, you learn how to get in a bind, and you start to lining up. You kind of master that, and the position that you squeeze and all that stuff. And so I came up with the term WrapFu. I love to watch mixed martial arts, and so I looked at it like it is a martial arts, but it's a skill that you develop within the install process, right? So I consider myself a WrapFu master, and being a WrapFu master doesn't mean that you know everything or that there's no room to learn. It just means that you've mastered the skill to a certain level. There's degrees to being a master. The master is always learning, right? But whenever you first start installing, it's just like any discipline that you start in the beginning, right? And so, what are you showing me? Are you showing me something?
No.
Okay. And so it's like, you start from the beginning and then you work your way up. And so WrapFu became such a part of my philosophy that I started to create a brand out of it. Right. And so as you can see, I got my hat here, with the WrapFu branding. We have some shirts with Keep It WrapFu, on them. And so it's just growing the brand. Right. But then recently what we started, it wasn't a new idea. It's an idea that I've had, but now we're starting to develop the process of what I call the WrapFu Academy, right? And so I've hinted at the WrapFu Academy in some of our content that we create, but I never really committed to developing the curriculum or even thinking about the system of how I'm going to go about it. It wasn't until we started having serious conversations of bringing on new installers that I realized that I need to develop this process, right? It was always in my mind, it was something that was, future stuff. Well, if you keep doing it long enough, the future finally catches, you finally catch up to the future, you finally arrive to the future, right? And so the future is now. And so what we're doing is we're working on the how to structure this training system. And the WrapFu Academy is going to be basically the operating system that we use to train all of our installers, whether it's in-house installers or if they're part of our corporate install team that I previously would call the Red Alpha install team, which you're wearing one of the shirts, right? One of the shirts is the WrapFu Master, right? And then on the back, it has, QR code that goes to our page, and it has information about the Red Alpha installers. And it'll still be the Red Alpha installers, but the training system is going to be the WrapFu Academy that we use. Also, we have our new plotter, which is going to allow us to be able to do stripe kits and do different stuff within the automotive restyling. And so WrapFu Academy is going to be the one. And so we got the kind of like the first starts of the the curriculum or the system. And then most recently I had our own brand of squeegees.
That's awesome.
I'm excited. And so these are the first prototypes of the WrapFu and the WrapFu Academy squeegees that, of course, we're going to be using when we're doing the install. But every wrap installer that comes through our system, we're going to have tools available for them to use, right? Because we want to make sure that they're representing the system that trained them, the company that trained them, and we're going to have a certification process. I have thoughts with the belt system. I'm going to do it similar to like you would, if you were doing jiu-jitsu or taekwondo or anything like that. And so it's going to be a discipline. It's not just learning how to install vinyl. It's learning how to be a WrapFu master, right? So it's different. The character is going to be important. Integrity is going to be important. Discipline is going to be important. There are so many things that are going to incorporate that are going to incorporate the philosophy of the WrapFu system, right? And so I'm excited. Merch. We got some more things coming. I got a bunch of ideas, and we partnered with we're working with a local company called the Lab ATX. They're a 3D printing company, and they started with us right there. And I don't want to call it a partnership yet, but they're the ones that help us bring this to life, and we'll see how that relationship grows. Good people, and so it looks promising. So we'll see how that goes. But moving on to the next segment, right? WrapFu Academy. Let's do the coffee break first so that I can drink some water, and then we'll go back to the next segment. Coffee break. So for those of you guys who know the coffee break, this is where I take a little bit of a break so that I can drink some water, right? But then my wife has a topic, or it's just something that she's been thinking about. It could be a random thought, it could be words of wisdom, or whatever it may be, and she shares the coffee break moment. Go ahead, baby doll.
So this weekend we did have an install. We went out to a customer's location, and it was enclosed, and they had goats there. Yeah, 3 goats. 2 were they seemed adult, and then 1 medium size. It looked like it was a young goat. They were so cute.
They were curious too.
They were curious. They were just around us, and Ruben was putting the decal on the truck, and then one got real close to him, and then I noticed that it started going like this to the side, and I'm like, oh, and then as soon as you got up, it went towards you, but you kind of like push, put your hand out, and I was like, oh, he's gonna headbutt us. And then after that, I was like, okay, I don't want to make any sudden movements, but then it started following me, like looking at me, and you're like, don't move too fast, or he's gonna come after you. Yeah. And he was kind of chasing me a little bit, but then they found something else that they were interested in, and so they kind of left the area. But that was pretty cool. Something different that we hadn't experienced on an install is having goats around us.
Yeah. And so it was cool. They were all smelling the vinyl and looking up, what are you doing right here? And it's
they were all
getting close, smelling us and all that stuff. And it was pretty cool. I mean, it's just we love animals, so it's one of those things where I just kind of touch it, and I said, you try to headbutt me, I'm gonna headbutt you back for sure. And so that was pretty interesting. Yeah. And so definitely fun. They weren't in the way to where it's like you can't work, but it was pretty cool, something different. Being able to work with some goats, it's always good to do. And then so for our, also part of the coffee break, I also take a moment. Also, shout out to the Lab ATX for creating our WrapFu cookie, fortune cookie. Right, this is a prototype, and basically for the WrapFu cookie, that's something, a concept that I came up with that I can open up in the podcast. Right, called the WrapFu cookie. You probably have already seen some memes where it's like inspiration kind of from the perspective of the WrapFu master. And so these are quotes of mine that I come up with, and I, just label them as the WrapFu cookie, right? And so let's see what's in the WrapFu cookie this week, right? Boom. It opens up. It's really cool. It says thoughts to heart to feet, right? And so I had a just kind of a thought this past week, and it came off of somebody else's post where they said, I manifest, but I also do the work, right? And I've always thought that those two work hand in hand. Like, I manifest because I do the work, right? You don't manifest unless you do the work, right? That's the way that's how I believe it, right? And so how do you manifest? That's the question. Everybody wants to know, how can I manifest the things that I think about, the dreams, the thoughts, all of the wishes that I have? How do I make those things become a tangible squeegee? How do I do it? Right? Because, I've heard Les Brown say that the funeral is full of dead dreams. There's cures to cancer. There's all sorts of, brilliant ideas that never leave the person's thoughts. Right. And who knows how the world would be if we were able to transfer those thoughts into something else, right? And so what I wrote down here, I think that this is kind of a start. In no way am I saying, hey, this is how you do it. This is the formula. Follow this system, and then you're gonna manifest more. But what I found in my life is that, whenever you're having thoughts, creative thoughts, you have to look at the ones that keep you up at night, right? I'm not talking about stress. I'm talking about good ideas that are going to benefit, your life or your company or your relationship or something like that, right? The thoughts that come and go, just let them come, let them go. But the thoughts that keep coming, you want to start paying attention to those, because that could be God putting it on your mind because it's something that you need to do, right? But it just can't stay in that form, right? And so our hearts are the ground. It's the soil that we need to take those thoughts and put them into, right? Because out of your heart, that's where everything comes from, right? And so whenever the Bible says that guard your heart with all diligence, because it's the wellspring of life, right? And so all the issues that you have in your life, it got in your heart, right? It was in your mind, and you let it get into your heart, and your heart is pushing up what you put into it, right? Well, the same thing works whenever it's a creative thought. You got to take that thought and you got to sow it into your own heart, right? And then once you sow it into your heart, it's going to start producing the thing that you once thought about, right? It's not just going to it's not going to come out of your heart, but the steps that you're going to take are you're going to start thinking about those. It's going to be like, hey, this once was a thought of the finished product, but now I put it into my heart. And then it's like, okay, what is step one? And then it's like step two, and your heart will start giving you those things, right? And you got to put it into your heart. And so what I wrote here is that you got to take your thoughts, put them to your heart so that it can go into your hands and feet, right? Yeah. You're going to need your hands and feet to bring that thing to life, right? You have to put in the work so that you can manifest, right? And that's what this is about. It's like, don't just let the thoughts be the thoughts. Some people, they have these great ideas and they sit around and they're waiting on it to magically appear into their lives. Like, one of the most dangerous things that I think people can say, not dangerous, but you got to really be careful with it, right? Because I hear people saying all the time, God is in control. And ultimately, God is in control. But you're the one that's going to have to do the work, whether it's going to manifest into your life or not. Right? God's promises are true, but if you sit on your butt and don't do anything, you're going to look at God as like, hey, God, what's up? You promised me this, you promised me that. Well, there's that's one word, but there's also stewardship, right? How are you managing the things that's in your hands right now? And it's not just managing stuff that's tangible, but it's how are you managing your thoughts? How are you managing, your emotions? And how are you managing the things that God has put in your hands, right? If you're mismanaging all of those things on a small level, you're never going to manage it in a bigger level, right? And so that's really all it boils down to. God's promises are true, from the moment that you begin and all the way through. But whether or not you see those promises be realized or come to harvest or fruition in your life, it's gonna boil down to what you do today, right? If it's real big, break it down to something small, but you got to do something every single day. Be consistent. Don't let your emotions or your feelings dictate what you do today. Discipline yourself and then do something every single day. And then eventually it becomes something, right? It becomes, and it'll be bigger than this. Like, so right now you guys are looking at squeegees, but, here soon you're going to see a whole, tool system that are branded with the WrapFu Academy. Pretty soon you're going to see, clinics that are being put on with the WrapFu Academy. You're going to see systems online, training systems online. You're going to see people that are being trained. You're going to see lead installers. You're going to see people who are running a team of installers, right? But it's because the thoughts are already in my feet, right? And so they're starting to come up, right? We've been sowing seeds for a long time, and now it's time for harvest. It's time for fruition. And so we're not doing anything that's necessarily special. Anybody can do it. We're all creative. God made us all to be creative, and he made us all to be able to bring our thoughts into harvest, right? We just have to be sowers. He gives seed to the sower, and you have to be disciplined to sow the seed, right? Be a sower. Today you sow for tomorrow, right? Today we eat what we sowed yesterday, right? WrapFu cookie, boom. And so that's our coffee break segment. And we do have one segment here that I just wanted to touch on real briefly. It's nothing that we're going to go along on, but so the transition from the first quarter of business to the second quarter. This coming week we're already going to change the time, and so whenever we change the time, I actually get excited because what does that mean? That means warmer weather is coming. Right? That means that people are going to contact us to do more trailer wraps, vehicle wraps. We're going to be at work later because the sun is going to be out longer. I know a lot of people don't get motivated by that, but I get frustrated whenever I have to stop just because the sun is going down.
Yeah.
Right. Our calendar doesn't work on a 9-to-5 schedule. Right. Our calendar works on I start it now and I finish here.
Yeah.
Right. That's how our work schedule goes. And so I want to finish stuff. If I can do it all in one day and not have to wait till the next morning, let's do it. So that way the next morning may not be that tough. And so that's the way I like to do it. We do a lot of installs outside, whether it's, doing a trailer outside or if we're doing some commercial windows, we rely on the weather to be good.
Yeah.
And so, that groundhog was lying. He said that we're looking at 6 weeks and we're not, unless it's coming in the future. But man, we're booking it. We're booking the stuff. And we're looking forward to the second quarter. We're busier now than what we were last year. I think, almost ever, but little by little, all our months are starting to get better. Our days are starting to get better. And it's because of that, we're able to do things that we haven't been able to do. Purchase new equipment. We got some people coming in to do some electrical stuff. It's like, it's a good time to be a Red Alpha, business owner. And so I'm excited. I knew this day was going to come all along. I never wavered or had any doubt. I just knew that it was a process. I knew I had to be better, and so I was okay with that. It didn't hurt my feelings that I wasn't good enough in the beginning. right? Not that I didn't have any value. You always have value, but if you're going to manifest great things, you have to be a great person. You have to be better, right? And so that's it with that. Is there anything else that's on your heart that you wanted to talk about that we share before we wrap
No.
this up? No. So we're looking forward to get after it. We hope you guys, that anybody who's tuned in, we hope that maybe something inspired you. Hopefully whenever you hear us talk, you can see that we're just two regular people. We're chasing the dream, right? We're trying to build legacy. We're trying to build a business that not only puts food on our table, but in the future it's going to put food on a bunch of people's table, right? Our mission as a business is to help people dream again. Maybe for the first time, maybe you've fallen, and we inspire you to dream again. Try one more time. That's our mission as a company. It just so happens that we print banners and business cards and vehicle wraps, right? But our mission is to inspire people to dream, and because we're both dreamers, right? And so that's what we're going to do. We make print stuff for dreamers because that's who we are and that's who we care about, right? But that's it for now. We thank you for tuning in. Tune in next week on Monday. We're going to be bringing these episodes regularly every week. And drop a comment, share, let us know your thoughts. Maybe share part of your story. We'd love to hear from you. But that's it for now. Ruben and Veronica with Red Alpha Custom Prints and the Red Alpha Mugshot Monday signing off.
Red Alpha out.